guess I'll start off simple because I think your name like catches people's attention and like what are the intents behind Verzache?
Where? Yeah, so it's kind of funny because it's like the name came up when I was talking to my homies one day and we were just like, what are we gonna call? What is my name gonna be? Because I went through like 10, 15 aliases, and I was just like, man, I need someone that's actually dope. Like first it was like some emo shit like Contempt or like fucking emo. I don't even know, but like we eventually it was just like, yo, he's like Verzache. He's like, dude, it's like the brand. It's like fucking crazy, dude. But no, I thought it was funny because, yeah, I don't know. I thought it just rocked. It was a name that actually like fit, and it's kind of comes off the tongue. And you're just like, word, that shit vibes. It's like you don't expect the music. I don't think that you would make the connection when you like listen to the music. You don't think of that name.
Yeah, I'll be real. Like you hear the name and you assume, okay, it's gonna be like the trapper.
It's a rapper, dude. I was in an Uber the other day, and he was like, they asked me like, what do you do, right? Like, cause sometimes it's small talk, and then I was like, yeah, I make music, and then he was like, oh, cool. Like he was like, oh god, like you know what I mean? Like not another fucking guy. Ugh. But no, I was like, yeah. He asked me my name. I was like, yeah, it's Verzache. And he's like, jeez, bro. He's like, bro, you gotta change your name. He's like, deadass was like, change your name, bro. I'm like, no, it's Verzache. Verzache. It's like my name is in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one would assume that. He's like, thought you'd be like some hard ass like, some like rap artist, but nah, man. I mean, maybe someday.
Yeah, right. And I think it's nice. I mean, like just as a person who's like cares about the music and the culture, like my favorite artists play with people's intentions like that.
Right.
Yeah. I love when people can hit you from left field, give you something unexpected. I feel like that's what we're all kind of searching for,
Right.
Do you feel like that's part of what you're trying to do with music, like the same thing you embody with the name, that's what you try to do with your sound and with your overall approach?
I think the name is like, I don't really think of the name as an important factor of the music. I feel like the name is just, that's the identity, that's the cover of the book, I think that the music is just it's more of something I actually care about, something I put the time into it, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna put my all into this is all me, and people are gonna hear it, and they're gonna, if they like it, they like it, if they don't, then whatever, but the whole point of it is to make something that I think is dope, and see if other people like it, like hell yeah, man, that's what's up. But if anyone can get anything out of it, like it could be like you can learn even like for a millisecond. If you listen to like a millisecond of my song and you're just like, yo, I heard something in that was like that was a vibe, or like I can relate to something like that, or you just said something that maybe I didn't think about, or if maybe that second of the song was just like changed the way I felt. I'm like now in a good mood or something. Like hearing stuff like that is sick for sure. But that's the goal, man.
That's sick. What do you feel like you're trying to say with your music? Like what's the latest single, Feeling That Feel? There's a sense of like emotion that I get from a lot of things. I even like notice kind of like a lot of these like playlists or like YouTube kind of channels that will pick your stuff up.
Right.
And we have like the ethereal kind of atmospheric thing going on. Clearly like the sound is really important, but I feel like lyrically and content wise, like you're also getting at something. And
right.
when you walk away from a record, like what do you feel like you were trying to say?
Yeah. So it's actually funny you say that, because whenever I make something, it's like, it's not even like I go into it with the intent of, making something that with a message for everyone, it's like I make something and, it's all me trying to be as genuine as I can possibly be. And then in making music. And if I finish the product and some shit comes out of it that I actually am happy with, and, after revisions and stuff, I think that the best thing is when, I forgot the question.
Just like what you're trying to say with your music.
Oh yes, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So with my music, I think that I am trying to tell messages, I guess, kind of like it's really just me living, like, and it's me doing life experiences, putting them into songs or emotions I've had, right? And a lot of it is like relatable. I feel like a lot of it is just some shit that you hear and you're just like, okay, well, maybe it's a little bit vague. It's like that's super, like I can vibe with that, but for me, it's I feel like the message is always different, but depending on the song, obviously, how I'm feeling. If for specifically feeling that one was more like I'm trying to do something where I'm explaining, my how I feel like in certain moments. It's not like all sad, not all happy. Maybe I'm in between type shit. Like I'm just really trying to explain like all the above, like just feeling anything in general,
Right.
And it's just like, yeah, I feel like it's just that's really what I'm trying to get at is just make some shit that makes you feel something, because sometimes everyone needs to feel something, and reflecting on it is important too. So
yeah. Well, it's funny you say that about kind of being it's not all sad, it's not all happy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're in between, because it was going to be the next thing I was going to ask. Like, your online persona with like Twitter and Instagram, like really funny, really kind of like abstract captions and stuff.
Yeah.
And then your music is hitting all these different ways. Like I found it difficult to get a read on the type of guy you are.
Right.
Maybe that's intentional to some extent, but like what type of guy are you?
Yeah.
Like are you ask people this and it's like, oh, I'm the class clown, or actually I was like the sad boy who didn't talk to anybody.
Right.
Like where are your life experiences coming from?
Yeah, so it's like online I'm really just like fucking around. Like I'm just like I'm not trying to do anything that's I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not trying to like do any of this stuff. I'm just trying to make people laugh, or mostly it's me laughing, and more people are just like reading it like, the fuck, what is this? Like what is this guy saying? But that's not the intention. I'm just like playing around online. Like I don't take it too seriously, because it's just like the internet, It's not real life, and you can have fun with it basically, but people sometimes do get like when I meet someone in real life that I haven't known, like I met them online and I meet them finally in real life, a lot of the time they're either like it's either like, oh, I totally expected this, or that you would be like this, or I totally like did not expect this, I'm definitely a cheery dude. Like I'm not like depressed when I'm when I'm talking to people. I'm not like on some sad shit, but like my music is, because everyone has emotions, right? Everyone, it's just that you don't have to be in one emotion for your whole life, or like every day, because that's what the music is for. That's me. It's like in a sense I'm like venting and letting all that energy out, and letting people know like I'm human too. Like everyone's human, and why not just put all my emotions into the music? It's almost like a huge big rock off my back, because it's just like so much weight. You let it build up, and then I decided to put it into music. But yeah, so I guess mostly I'm just like I'm a normal dude, man. I'm a normal dude who's just taking it easy, and I have my own struggles, and yeah, but I'm a pretty chill dude. I'm just average day. I'm just chilling and watching SpongeBob, like iCarly bangs, all that shit. You already know, right. But yeah.
So what are some of the like experience, at least to the extent that you're comfortable? I'm really not like trying to pry, but like what are the emotions of the music coming from? Is this heartbreak? Is this like a chip on your shoulder from some shit that happened in school? Right, like where is the deep shit coming from?
It's really like it's a bunch. It's like a plethora of emotions from all across the board over the past 7 years. It could be from like heartbreak. It could be from a lot of it is from just getting down on myself. Some self-esteem issues. Getting past like some shitty moments in school. Everyone has their shitty times, but but yeah, so it's really all across the board. Like I have very few happy songs out right now, but you know I'm making my way there. So it's kind of like a journey, you know, just me slowly progressing with different emotions and putting in different tunes and releasing.
Right. So I know the answer to this, but if you could explain for people, where you're from.
Yeah, I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I've lived there my whole life. But I was born. Yeah, this is random as hell, man. I was born in Singapore, in Asia. I lived there for like 4 years, and then I moved to Canada and lived in Toronto for ever since. Yeah.
Or what does it mean to be from Toronto? What like inspires you about the city?
Right.
I feel like it's also when Toronto comes up, it's like a talk about Toronto without mentioning Drake challenge.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting is because you're a younger guy, you've kind of come of age in a time where Toronto does have more credibility and,
Right.
and more eyes on it versus you ask someone older and they're like, yeah, we never had a shot,
Exactly.
whatever. And you're like, well, since I've been a teenager, we've been like the hottest shit in
Right,
music.
right.
So what is your Toronto experience?
Okay, so to be honest, I didn't hate Toronto, but I wasn't a huge fan of Toronto when I was like living there in high school and all that. Like I didn't see everything like the big all the glory or like the magic of the city. Because I basically didn't do shit. Like I just didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I was just like chilling all the time and yeah. So only recently have I kind of dove into like the Toronto music scene and kind of just experiencing what's going on there. But yeah, so Toronto, when I started making music I was just in college, and I was kind of just listening to all the Drakes and like all the like Party Next Door, all that stuff. That was whenever I thought Toronto music, that's what I thought, and that was like a huge thing for me. I loved all the old like OVO records with Drake, like with 40, like on the. I like the ones like that aren't as poppin', like there's Days in the East type shit, like slower ones.
Oh, that's so good.
Dude,
Cameras is like my favorite.
Oh hell yeah.
You know
Dude.
what I mean? I love the like atmosphere. I like the shit that feels like a winter night.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
dude.
city.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like that's entirely embodies Toronto because especially when you're coming home from like college at 8 p.m. or some shit. Like I'm on the bus and it's like snowing and it's dark. I'm listening to this shit and like vibing. Like that's what I think of. All that. But Toronto has a lot to offer, and I'm like I said, I'm kind of diving into the city now, just seeing what it has to offer, and there's a lot of dope venues, a lot of dope acts come through. From what I know, there used to be or there is still a big techno scene too, which I'm not really into, but I've heard. But yeah, no, Toronto's dope, man. It's a dope city for sure. It's a totally different vibe than like New York or all these places. But not saying that New York is bad at all. Like I love it 10 times more than Toronto, mostly because I'm not from here. I'm kind of just like absorbing it all. But yeah, man, for real.
Yeah, I've had like some of the best times in my life in Toronto, so
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of love for the city, and kind of has like a rich musical history that I don't think everyone
Knows
is
about.
grasped.
Yeah.
Like, Rick James like dodged the army and went over to Toronto and hooked up with like
Weird.
Neil Diamond and shit, and
I didn't even know that, man. That's sick.
the Rolling Stones did.
Oh yeah, there's tons of shit there.
And then like the whole scandal with the first lady back in the
Word,
'70s.
My God, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's just cool stuff that's like real rock and roll history from that city well before Drake. So
Yeah.
you know,
Everyone thinks about Drake now because, especially all the kids, like that's the only real thing. But now there's like a shit ton.
Yeah, I think
Toronto.
it's cool that it's gotten a spotlight shined on it, like as a city, like it has contributions to culture and to the arts and
Hell yeah.
all this stuff.
We were
talking about like how you used to just drop,
right.
and then
Right.
got management, like
Yes.
strategy changed.
So before management, it was like I was on my own. So just literally just until February this year, I was just whenever I finished something, I would just post it on SoundCloud and like upload it onto Spotify like immediately and just wait. right? No plans, which, you know, I kind of miss that because like the spontaneous dropping of music is just like, it's like, oh fuck, I'm putting my shit out there now, I can do that. But my manager Brad has taught me a couple things about planning, which is very important as I've come to see. But so yeah, now we've been rolling things out, you know, smoother. Like 2 months, like when I have a song, I'll probably, you know, 2 months before release, you know, just planning, like coming up with shit. But yeah, so it's been a weird transition for me, like extremely uncomfortable to do that. It just feels like, oh, it's done. I'm just gonna post it, right? But no, that's what I've been going through now, and it's definitely a way better method, man. Like it's you have everything rolling out in like a very what's the word, polished manner, and everything looks like ready, you know. And the results are so much better. Like the song does better. It looks better to me. You know, everything is just working out in the way that we want it to work out, for sure.
What are like some other changes? You know, you've gone from kind of this kid making music for 12 hours at your school.
Yeah.
And, you know, bedroom pop vibes, and I know you're still that at heart, but
yeah.
like, what are just things that you can notice changing as you get more attention as this like starts to develop into like a real career for you?
It's definitely a really odd feeling to like get some attention for my music. Like it's sick, it's awesome. It's like everything I could have ever wanted to have people listen to my shit and be like, that's nice. Like I really like that. I would listen to that. Like I never thought that would really happen. But to be fair, I wasn't really focused on getting attention. That wasn't like the goal or anything. It's not. I feel like it's like chasing your tail. You know, if you're trying to do something like that, it's like you're going in circles. You're not actually going anywhere. But I was just focused on the music. That's all. Just making shit I like. But I think that over time, with some recognition, it's kind of just getting used to that and kind of, you know, knowing how to deal with, you know, some people hitting you up sometimes, you know, getting messages from people being like showing love, or like someone asking like, oh, can I use your video in can I use your music in like a video of mine or something? So like that, it's all sick, and it's just like getting used to it, getting yourself accustomed to that is really weird. And just for someone to say that, oh yeah, my friend listens to your stuff, doesn't even know you, you know, like all my friends are posting your stuff. Like I saw it on a story the other day. So like we were in a mall in LA like a month ago when I visited for like the second time, and like these girls were just there, like they knew my shit in the mall, and I was like mad uncomfortable. Like I was like, bro, this is sick, but like I don't know what to do. Like that's crazy. So it's stuff like that I'm easing into, but it's taking time. But I'm grateful for it, no doubt.
Definitely. What's your process like? And I don't know if there's been like an evolution of it. It's kind of like a blanket question, because one of the most interesting things that I read about you was go to class at 8 a.m. and be working on music till like midnight
Yeah.
at school.
Yeah.
And so what was that time like, and how has your process evolved since then?
Okay, so that was a dark time for me, I feel, because that was right after high school. I just got into college. I went to Ryerson. It was called Ryerson University in Canada, and it was downtown Toronto. I had to commute, so I had to wake up like super early, head down there. I'd always bring my laptop with me just for class, right? Like for lectures and stuff. But half the time I was just working on shit. Like brought my headphones. I would just work on that. I would go to like after class. I would just go to like a big building to work on stuff called the Student Learning Center. I would just work on shit in there for hours and hours. And it was kind of because of Toronto's like subway and all that system. Like I was just like, I don't want to get on the subway at, you know, rush hour and like get on with everybody there. So I would end up staying in like a cafe for like way too long after I finished class, and I would just work on music. So it was just me like not wanting to get in packed areas, but it was ridiculous because it's always packed anyways half the time, so it wasn't much of a technique. But yeah, no, shit like that. It was just like, it wasn't even like me pushing myself. It wasn't like, yo, I'm gonna work on music for 12 hours, or like I'm gonna just fucking push it so I can like work on this and make something that I love, you know. It was more like, I have my computer. I'm like, what if I did this? Wait, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And like I have all these ideas, and I'm just like, I have to put them down. Like I'm just gonna, if I don't put it down, I'm literally gonna have an aneurysm. Like I'm just gonna, like I need to do this, you know? It was like it was more of an obsession type thing. But yeah, so that was really the whole thing I was going through. It was like just getting through and doing whatever I felt was, you know, the urge to do, like with music. So that's what that was about.
And then how do you record now?
So it's funny because when at that time, I didn't do vocals. There was no vocals. It was all production. I was just producing on my laptop, and I just like had Ableton Live 10. That's like the program I use, and I was kind of just playing around on there, and I never really experimented with guitar and stuff because, and I'd played guitar for like 9 or 10 years before, but I just never thought of adding it. So probably 2 years ago, I started adding ukulele to my stuff, and now I record with like I use actual microphones, and you know I have a setup at home. It's all better now. Like I can't make music on the go as much, but yeah. So now I just record with like a mic in my basement, and you know, just whatever I have. Yeah.
So, what are and like who are some of your influences? You know, like it's documented the Mac DeMarco love, which you know I definitely feel. He's like one of the goats.
Hell yeah.
The effect that he does on his guitar is just
oh yeah,
nice.
like the chorus, crazy shit. Yeah, I
so
love
like,
it.
What's the deal with Mac? Are you still feeling him? And just like in general, who are people that you remember seeing on TV or on YouTube, you know, growing up and just being like, okay, this inspires me. This makes me want to be an artist.
Hell yeah,
you know,
yeah.
All that shit.
So people I listen to a lot, stuff like I grew up listening to a lot of. I listened to Avril Lavigne. That was like the first album. No, first album I bought was Future Sex Love Sounds by Justin Timberlake.
Yo, Avril's early shit is hard.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I bought, I forget the name.
Let
it was
Go.
Let Go. Yeah. It had like Complicated on it and Skater Boy.
Mm-hmm. And then people sleep on My Happy Ending.
Oh, yes.
Like, Don't Tell Me and all that shit. Like,
yeah. Dude, that's
speaking up for Avril.
It's hard,
like,
yeah.
I remember even when that shit dropped in like 2009, what was it? Like, it was some pop banger she came back with.
Oh, is it like the Girlfriend one?
No, it's not Girlfriend. It's like the You Say I'm Messing Around With Your Head.
Oh.
Yeah. What's that shit called?
Dude,
What the hell?
I recognize it, but I never listened to that one.
Yo, What the Hell is one of her like all time.
I'm actually gonna listen to that after this, 100%. Dude, I'm about it.
I'm glad somebody gave her props for her contribution.
Dude, she's great. She's great, and she kind of like.
Fellow Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. She was from just outside of Toronto, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's like her. I listen to a lot of Bon Iver, like that the chill shit is like my favorite. I listen to that. A lot of Arcade Fire, and then Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator was like mid high school. I started listening to that, and that was kind of like the first hip hop I got into, anything like stuff like that. So that was a big thing for me. Tame Impala. I'm just gonna name a couple more.
Keep going, yeah.
Toro y Moi, one of my favorites, like to this day for sure. What else? Oh yeah, and at the end of high school, I was listening to this band a lot. Frankie Cosmos. That was sick. They're a dope band. But yeah, those are some names I can think of. Oh, now my favorite, Playboi Carti. Playboi Carti, hands down. That's my shit, man.
Yeah, I feel like Die Lit is like the
oh
album
yeah,
of this generation.
For real, man.
Yeah, he's great. So to wrap things up, last couple questions.
Yeah.
I have two really. One, what is your like impression of an experience with like the business side of music? You know, as you've grown and are growing a little bit more out of, you know,
Yeah.
just this kid dropping myself on SoundCloud, but you know, you're meeting with people, you're you know, trying to make some money. Like, just some people really get fascinated by the side, some people totally hate it. You know, like, I don't know, where do you see it?
Like
Just the business side, the
business.
money
Oh,
side.
what do I think about it?
Yeah.
I think that it gave me a lot of anxiety when I first, you know, heard about everything and how everything worked. It was like, even just having a manager was just stressing me out. Like, the whole idea, it was like, how can I trust someone with all my shit? Like, how am I gonna do all this? It's like I'm learning all about it now. It's like giving me like headaches, but it's like, I think that it's all important. Like, it's huge, and it's everything that every artist needs. You know, there's so much that artists kind of, like, independent artists, I feel like, are known for kind of just shitting all over the industry side. You know, they're kind of just like the stereotypical like independent artist would just be like, oh, nothing, like no ties to the industry, like all me, you know, type thing. But yeah, and I was kind of like that. But recently, like, if you can see the benefits, and you can see if it makes sense, like, which it does a lot of the time. A lot of the stuff in the industry now is just like, there's things that you can do, that artists can do, that are just totally beneficial for them, and it makes sense for them, like even short-term stuff. But yeah, so the industry it was a bit of an enigma. I was kind of just basing it off old stories, you know, don't get screwed by like the label, you know, like you sign your life away. Like, that's my dad kind of like put that all in my head when I was young, and you know, it's granted, like, some of that stuff is true, but yeah, I definitely think that the industry has a lot to offer, and it's a lot. I got a lot to learn still.
Right. And to close things out, just what we kind of discussed this earlier, but I think it was more present leaning. Like, okay, what are you trying to say with your music as you make it and your messages and
Right.
stuff? But if you like step back and look at your body of work, and you know, think about where you'll be in 5 years or 10 years, and
Yeah.
you know, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be remembered for? If someone mentions your name,
Mm-hmm.
like, what would be the biggest compliment to you to have them like
Yeah.
describe your moment and your music as?
Yeah, it's like questions like this are kind of like things that I'm kind of thinking about, and I kind of have to really think about in the moment, because it's when I started this shit, I never had the intention of getting attention. You know, like, I never thought that blowing up, like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm blowing up, but like, if I were to, it's like it wouldn't be something I was actively chasing. But yeah, like, in the future, just for people to know my stuff, like, if I'm, by the time I'm gone, if there's people who are just like, oh yeah, Verzache, like, some of his shit was sick, like, some of the nicest stuff I've heard, or like, if they got inspiration, some artists in the future that, you know, that I'll come to like, some future artists who are just like, oh yeah, I'm inspired by Verzache, like, one of the people, like, that's enough for me, man. Like, if I hear that someone took something from my music that was like, that, like, some inspiration, like, that makes me happy. That's all I need. I don't need enough. I don't need, sorry, a lot. But I think all that's needed is just, you know, a little bit of credit and like recognition. For me, that's enough.